Even if you don't care about xDefiant, and I know many of you don't, that's one of the main reasons why it's shutting down and why the lead studio, Ubisoft San Francisco, is closing. Lots of layoffs, it's not pretty. I still think it's like interesting to look at this situation for many reasons. One, I don't think we've ever seen a live service game announce that they are shutting down and then like a few weeks later be like, yo, and here's our biggest update ever. It's wild. It also includes some Assassin's Creed content I've been playing. It's actually pretty fun. I want to show you some of the things that they got. But it's also really interesting to look at it from a development standpoint and how far ahead they plan these live service updates to then drip feed the content at a cadence that they think will work, while obviously in the case of xDefiant it did not. And also looking at all this stuff, I just don't know what the vision was here. Like, how did they think that this was going to set them apart and compete with all the other big free-to-play games out there? So I want to start at the Season 3 trailer. This video was made, obviously, before they decided to, like, stop the support for this game, which is crazy and once again shows you how far ahead they plan. And it also really highlights a big issue with this game. So they're basically, with this update, adding beta modes to the game that in a different timeline, if this game was successful, would of course be expanded upon over time. They are still adding it. It's still like something you can play right now, and it's kind of wild. But you look at this and it's like, okay, so what they're basically doing here is they're adding a Counter-Strike mode or Valorant mode. And yeah, why would people jump to xDefiant for that? Like, even Fortnite added this mode to their game, but obviously their core gameplay is quite different. But why would people pick xDefiant over this? They're also adding bots now. It really feels, and we see that also here with the kind of progression they're adding. They're adding new progression, daily rewards. Every freaking free-to-play game has the daily rewards. It's like one of the first things it feels like they do. And so yeah, they have faction mastery. So yeah, play one character a lot, get a cool gold skin. They're adding that now. Badges are pretty cool, so you kind of do something in the game and then you don't know what you have to do, but you kind of get like a reward for it. It's a smart system. But yeah, you also see this prestige. Something that people have been asking for a super long time. This game has been catching up ever since it came out. You could argue it was not ready, but they've been delaying this. Like, this, I think, should have launched in 2021 was the original plan, or maybe 2022. It came out in 2024, of course. Yeah, I dropped something. Nothing important. But yeah, this has been like things people wanted, and you want to keep players in your game, and then you're adding these systems like half a year after launch. It's kind of crazy to me. You already kind of saw the Assassin's Creed content. It's pretty cool. So they have like the Odyssey map, they have a Valhalla map. I've played it, and yeah, it's quite fun. So as like a huge Odyssey fan, it's kind of awesome to run around in Greece again, and now with a gun. It's weird. It's really weird, but they did a great job with this map. Like, I'm totally getting some nostalgic feelings here. And shotguns are really OP in this game, so I've been rocking. Got another kill right here. Let's see. Boom. Ha. And another one. Boom. So yeah, they basically added the assassin faction. And you can have this Apple of Eden and then use the hidden blade to like insta-kill people. That's kind of your ultimate ability. But my favorite thing is that you can also use the hidden blade as a melee weapon if you like hold the melee button. And then you like insta-kill enemies too. That felt pretty good. So yeah, they totally have some nice things. But the crazy part is, so with the Season 3 update, they wanted to add the assassins. They did the Assassin's Creed maps. They did some, like, again, those beta modes. But they did way more. So here we go over here to X, to Mark Rubin, the executive producer on the game. He tweeted out like a bittersweet message about the game. And what he says is that we've also been able to add some extra content to this release from future seasons. So we have our Season 3 content, plus some of the content from Season 4, 5, 6, 7, and even 8. So usually they only add one faction per season, and those would be the Assassins, but they now also added the Wolves. So a completely new faction that was basically done. They already had it ready, you can now play as them as well. And Omega Force, that was obviously kind of still in development. We do have the abilities, but yeah, normally you have like 3 characters, and now we only have 1, and there are no skins for them available yet. I do think all the character skins for the Wolves. That freaking, like, actual wolf skin is pretty dope. What is also crazy is that if you go to the store, you can just buy everything. Like, everything is just, okay, I want to buy this, buy bundle. Yeah, purchase cost me 0. Because, yeah, the game is shutting down anyways. It's so weird. We've never seen... And correct me if I'm wrong, but I've just never seen something like this before. I'm like buying all these skins that would normally cost 15 euro or something. But that was one of the issues with this game. Nobody was buying this stuff. Because, I gotta be honest, it's not... Okay, this looks kind of cool. They have been doing better with them, but it really, like, they've been struggling big time to get people to care and spend money on these items because they're just not really cool. You need for a free-to-play game, especially if you come in later when all the other free-to-play games have been, like, upping their game in terms of, like, paid cosmetics. You can't come in with, like, kind of crappy skins. And again, they have totally been doing better, but yeah, it did not feel necessary to get them, obviously. He also says, we're also adding 6 new arena maps and 3 new linear maps from future seasons. So along with the 4 new maps from Season 3, that's a total of 13 new maps. They had 13 maps ready, and they're only launching 4. Again, Season 8 was gonna be a year from now, and they already had content for it ready. If you want to do anything at all, you need to check out the new Rayman map that was going to be part of an epic event takeover in Season 4. It even has its own mode, Lum Hunt. It really looked insane. Again, shotgun super OP. But like, the map team for this game was like crazy. The maps they made, again, I love the Assassin's Creed content they did as well, but this map in particular was wild. And again, it's finished. They had this. They were planning to launch this 3 months later, and I totally get why you do that. You want to drip feed content. You don't want to like launch everything all at once because then, sure, you get like a big bump, but then at one point people want more, and then you don't have anything because obviously you released everything. But I think it's very fascinating to see that they planned this far ahead. And even with a game where people were like, oh, it's pretty light on content. Yeah, it was never going to be enough. And one of my things, especially with xDefiant, was, and we saw that as well, like it was catching up a lot in terms of progression. Obviously, they are launching those systems when they are ready. They probably were not as far, like they're not holding that stuff back. Only like actual content like maps and factions and stuff. But the game was kind of missing the surprises. And you really see that just a few maps in a season that lost like 3 months and one faction, it's not enough. It's really not enough to sustain a live service game anymore, especially if you're late to the party and want to catch up. For example, Marvel Rivals is now launching 4 new heroes in 1 season. So that would be the equivalent of like 4 factions in xDefiant in a way. So again, while the content they were making looked awesome, and I still think it's wild that they released it all. I think that's such a cool thing. Unlocking everything for free, that's amazing. It's kind of wild and feels kind of like you're hacking or something to unlock everything that should have been paid for free. But it also shows you that if this was their plan, how could they turn this around? All they were doing was catching up to other games. And yeah, obviously that doesn't work out if you have a game that is not original to begin with. And while I like Assassin's Creed, I don't really play a lot of shooters, so it's not really doing a lot for me. As like I'm just going to run around in these levels once and be like, oh, this looks pretty cool, and then I will peace out. So this game, like, there was no way, unless they really created like a new mode or something that would push people from other games to check it out. But it never had that. The Ubisoft franchises were not that. The skins, the characters, the modes, it was all everything you've already played before, but in a new jacket. And then to not really have a great cadence. Like this update that they had now, that felt like the first time people were like, oh my god, there are 30 new maps, 3 new factions. That is, and I'm thinking that that's maybe why they did it. That's maybe why they were like, let's give all of this and just see what happens. You cannot even download the game anymore. I'm not sure what it was. Like, I've played like a week ago and the servers were pretty fine. I could like jump into a game pretty fast for something that we know is shutting down. Like, there's no reason to invest time in this game if you like value that, apart from just having fun. I know, wild to think about, but usually you of course invest in a live service game because you know, oh, this will be around forever, blah blah blah. Maybe this is for Ubisoft like a test bed to see, with this amount of content, do people play longer sessions? Do they actually get like a more positive feeling for the game? Is this what we should do? Instead of doing this very limiting post-launch schedule, we should like double down even more, otherwise just not even try it. I don't know what the learnings are, but I think this game never really had a shot, and they shot themselves in the foot like many times with having issues that just the competition does not have. You cannot come late to the party with missing features that the competition has, and also issues like hit registration and stuff that just doesn't work properly. While Call of Duty, that's only growing and growing and growing now that it's on Game Pass as well, doesn't have those issues. Obviously it has its own issues, but still, it's a juggernaut. If you want to come at the king, you better not miss. So let me know what you thought of this. I thought it was fascinating. Drop it in the comments. And of course, subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. And I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.